Hello, everybody. Hello from Geneva, and hello from the Versus Virus Incubator. Today is Friday, and we are together again for a lunch and learn session. It is a warm Friday, so thank you very much for being with us. I hope we can all get to the lake afterwards. Today we have a very special presenter. Her name is Victoria Vassileva, and Victoria and I share the same family names. Unfortunately, we are not related, although I would love to have her as my daughter, but she will be sharing with you today the ins and outs of a product design sprint. What do you do in order to know a lot about your product without spending any money? Victoria, would you like to take it from here?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm very excited for today's session. So I'm Victoria Vassileva. I'm a full-stack web developer, and I'm currently a teacher at Le Wagon coding bootcamp in Lausanne. And yeah, excited for today to present what a design sprint looks like. Let's get started. I will share my screen now. Is everyone seeing my screen? Yes, perfect. So welcome. So what is a product design sprint? So from what I understand, you've already chosen what you wanted to do as a product, and now you're redefining and building your MVP to be able to pitch it in a few weeks. So today I'm going to go over some key UX design concept and how to really define to the maximum your idea to be able to then pitch it in a few weeks. So the outline for today, we're going to go through a use case and what it is, and making sure that your idea has one use case. It's very important to always, when you start, to have one clear use case and to go from there. From there, we will choose one core journey that will be very essential to when you're going to start building your website and to ensure that it matches your use case that you have chosen. We'll then look into the user flow. So building on your core journey, how the flow will go on your website and how this will be displayed and shown. And finally, we'll do a mock-up of your application that you will do and prototype. So when you decide to your project, it's very important that you decide on one use case. So if we take the example of Airbnb, their core use case is to be able to book flats. Same for Uber. Their core use case is that people are able to book rides. So it's very important to have that very clear in mind, and that's what will create your need. So we'll go a bit in depth into that. So when you choose your use case, it's important to have a verb and a complement to it. And so to do that, you need to understand the need, the action that the user will complete. So usually the need is the easiest thing to define because it is what the user is the initial trigger that the user has that will trigger him to look for a solution for whatever problem he has. So usually when he looks for a solution, it will not be your product. It will look for different things that will solve his problem. And so that is very important to understand the need of your user and what will trigger him to go for this action. And the difference, so there is two UX components. There is the need and the goal of the user. So as I said, the need is the easiest thing to understand. And the goal is a little bit harder because it's the objective that the user wants to reach. So what I mean by that is it's the results that they are hoping to get in the future. So for example, Airbnb, if we take the user segment of a 30-year-old couple that want to go on holiday and they're booking their flats, their objective is to have a unique experience. And that's their future objective that they're looking for, and it's their goal, and it's what's driving them to pick after Airbnb over other platforms. So that's quite also important to understand. And it's really what's going to make your product be chosen over other products. So that's something very important to understand. And those two components, those two UX components are very essential to be really defined from the beginning of your journey, from your start of your sprint onwards, because it's what you're going to base all your decision on. And to do that, we're gonna, there is a methodology that we call personas. So personas are ways to identify different users, different types of users, and by doing that, you are able to then find those objectives. And based on those objectives, then you'll be able to make better decision on how to outline your websites or your applications. So let's see some different examples of needs. So make sure to choose only one and do it good. So especially in the beginning, on a sprint, you want to make sure that you're choosing only one need and focus on that need that the user will have. So for example, Airbnb, the core need that a user will have is to book a place for their holiday. If we take Google Analytics and we take the segment of a UX designer, usually they use Google Analytics to analyze the website traffic and the behavior that they have on their website. Same thing for Trello. Trello is usually used for different types of users, but if we choose sales, their core need is to manage the pipeline of their sales, and they would choose Trello for it. Typeform, their core need is to create surveys, so it's a platform to easily make surveys, and that's what they focus on. Same for Netflix, it's a platform to watch movies, series, and that's what they focused on. So it's important that your website has one core need and that you focus on that, and that if you want to expand on different other features, that it doesn't overlap with your core feature. And so now let's look at objectives. And so objective is the way you position yourself, so your unique value proposition of what makes your site. Why will a user choose you over your competitors? So for example, for Airbnb, if we also base your unique proposition on your different segments, so for example, here, if we take a 30-year-old couple, their objective and their goal is to live an authentic experience, and that's why they will choose Airbnb. If we go back to the UX designer who wants to analyze the traffic of their website and their end goal of why they're choosing Google Analytics is to improve their conversion rates. So that's really why they would go on this platform and use it. Same for Trello. If you're a salesperson, you're using Trello, yes, for managing your pipeline, but your end goal is to close deals, make sure that you're managing and keeping track of all their sales. So that's their end goal and their objective of using Trello. For Typeform, if, for example, you're a marketer, you're making a survey, you're creating the survey, that's your need, you're creating the survey, but your end goal is to take this data and generate new leads with what you've gotten from the survey. And for Netflix, it's a little bit more tricky, but it's the end goal of using Netflix is to be entertained and be happy and enjoy a nice evening. So it's really important to understand your unique value proposition based on the user's end goal. And we'll see now how you can find those objectives or find what your user are going to use your platform for, and how it will help them, because this will really help you be able to compare with your competitors and being the chosen products over others. If we compare the unique value proposition of Airbnb and Booking.com, we see that Airbnb really focuses on this platform of being social. They really focus on reviews, they have ratings, they have experience to really make it feel like an authentic experience of booking your flights there. As Booking.com, they focus more on price and finding the best deals. So you'll see when you look at their website, you can really see the difference on how they've positioned different UI components based on this unique value proposition. Yeah, I can maybe, I will show you. So usually what we do as a UX designer, we create what we call a UX persona. So what you can do is you can have multiple UX profiles. What I recommend is that you start with one, and that you think is the typical user that will use your platform. And here we've taken an example of a UX persona for Airbnb, one of their primary segment. And we've created a persona called Manu, who is 30 years old. She's a photographer in a relationship, and we've really detailed her basic information. So we really went to understand who is Manu, how will she act. And so here we just said she's 32, she's French. We also mentioned her professional, so her job. Here she's a photographer, and that will also really affect how you're gonna present your product. And we also specify the income, because I think that's quite important to understand, how much your user has available with them. And then afterwards, you really detail her goals. So if she had to book a place to stay, what are her end goals? What are her objectives? So here Manu is a photographer. She wants to sleep in unique places, to be able to avoid touristic areas, because she wants to take great pictures and really live an experience that she can document through photography. And she wants to avoid fake Airbnbs that we can often see on Booking.com sometimes. And so by detailing that, you will be able to really understand, okay, who is my persona? What are their objectives? What are their goals? And this will help for afterwards. We also detailed her typical behaviors. So that's really more digging deeper into the persona, really, really understanding who is this user, who is she, and how can we position ourselves to really match their objective, their goal. because now you have your product, you define your need, but how can we match the goals of our users? So that's a great way of doing. I will share this the slides and this Excel sheet so you can try it at home also. So once you've done that, you'll be able to understand how to create your core user journey. So your core user journey is how, based on your core use case. So for example, if we take Airbnb, their core use case and their core need is for someone to book a place. So the core user journey will be going onto the website, searching for a place to book, finding the place, and clicking and checking, paying for your reservation. So that's kind of the user journey. We recommend that you have 5 views max to create a less friction, because if your user flow or your user journey has many different views, and by views I mean different pages of how the user goes through, it's more easy for them to go somewhere else to check out and not go back to your page. So that's very important, 5 view maximum. And yeah. So if we take the core user journey of Airbnb, as I said, you have your homepage. And on the homepage, usually you have in big, and the front homepage, I think it's check-in, check-out, the location where you want to rent a place. And once you click on it, you have a result of different, a list of different places that are available on those dates in that location. So that's another view. And then you click on the flat that you find the most relevant, and you will have a show page of that flat with details of when it's available, the price, the different reviews on that flat. And once you're happy, there's usually a big button to book this place, and that's the confirmation page where you're able to book and confirm it.
Can I ask a quick question, Victoria? Mm-hmm. Sorry to interrupt you. Do you hear me?
Oh, yes, I think it froze for a bit.
Oh, okay. Can I ask a quick question?
Mm-hmm.
My quick question is, so just to understand that, to make sure that I understand correctly, the core user journey means the journey of my user on my website. Is this what you're talking about?
Yes, exactly. I can show you.
Oh, okay, beautiful.
On Airbnb.
So, okay, thank you so much. So how my user journeys along my website so that they can use my services and pay for them.
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you.
So yeah, if we take this slide, so we see we have a home. And so here we have the home with location. So maybe we can put Geneva, date, I don't know, here. And that's the home page. And as you can see, this is the main action that the user will take. And so yeah, the core need was to book a flat. So that's the first thing that they're putting up, is really book your flat. When do you want it? Which location? And go. This is the second page. So this is the second view that the user will see. And as you can see, you have a list of places. You have the location of where they are, and that's the second view. The third view is once you click on it, you are able to see the show page of the flat that you wanted to pick. Here you see different images, you have a clear description with things that a user would typically want to know about this place. And as you can see, you have a big card next to it that is a call for action to book then this place. And if I go on reserve, it will take me to the final view, which is the checkout process. And so this is an example of how Airbnb did for their core journey. That is their main focus of someone booking a flat. So this is how they did it. And so that's quite important to keep in mind your user and how they will go through the user journey. So for each page, so for each view, it is important to have three main components, which is the action, the context, and the angle. So on the homepage of Airbnb, their action is, I want my user to book a flat. So on their main page, that was the first thing that we saw. And that's quite important. Then the context is what is the user needs and what they want to know about us. So what is our product? So if we saw on Airbnb, they had a lot of beautiful pictures of different housing and apartments to really give a context of what this platform is about and what the user will need to know about it. And then the angle is the unique value proposition that you want to put forward to the user. So if we go back to Airbnb, on their homepage, you can see that their unique value proposition is booking a place that feels like home, having a unique experience to really make the user feel comfortable. And so they have lovely blue pictures of a very homely little housing. And so that's how they come across their unique value proposition. So that's quite important to have those three components on each of your views throughout your user journey. So yes, we had here for Airbnb, choose a flat, and yeah, they will go through the home, the result, the show, and the confirmation page. And each one going through what we explored before on their page. So you can go into more depth. I can send you the slides and you can see how they've really done those three components on each of their pages. So that's quite important to add in your core journey that you want to focus on. So yeah, same example here, action, context, angle. So each page that you do, focus on those things, make sure that you really show the user who you are and how they can achieve their end goal or their objectives. So that's quite important. And that's how it's linking to your user personas. Because once you know your user persona, their needs and their goals, like why they want to, what they're looking for, then you'll be able to really base and create really powerful pages. So quick advice, on each view page, have only one call to action, which is related to your, one call of action. It's easy sometimes to put lots of different things on one page because you want to show this, and then it's very easy for user to then get lost. So very important to just have one call of action per page and focus just on that. And also try to add really only the key information. Don't put everything in one view page. Only really focus on the key things. Sometimes I know when you're creating a new product, you want to show this on the page with different action calls. Just the more simplistic and minimalistic you are, the better your page will be. So those are my two advices for your views. So if we go back to our Excel spreadsheet, we have a tab that calls User Journey. And so if we take the UX persona that we've created before, which is Manu, we can go through the user journey that she will undertake if she was going through Airbnb. So the persona is Manu. The task that she is about to do is book a place for her trip to New York. And her goal is to find a unique place in a cool district that she's thinking of. So that's really detailed, really specific onto what action the user is going to take and who the persona is that is about to take it. So you can give a little bit of context where. So she is in Paris in her sofa. She's it's Sunday. She's having a good day. And she's just about to go to New York. So, and she's with her boyfriend, Sebastian, and they're looking together at different options, which device she's using, her personal laptop. It's also quite important to know the devices that your typical user will be using. So here, personal device, so it's important to make your website mobile, computer friendly, and for different screens also, and in which mood, just to give a bit of context of where she is when she's about to book. And then going through the journey. So she goes on the web application, she opens it, she searches for a flat in New York with her boyfriend, Sebastian. They look through results in Williamsburg, in the district that their friend lives, which is very high. And each time you describe each step that this user is doing, you can put a feeling that how are they feeling. Usually when you see a list of different flats, you feel a bit confused, you don't know what to choose. So that's also very important to take into account. You don't want to overwhelm the user with loads of information. So if we see on Airbnb, when they give us a list of flats, it's not it's not there anymore, but it's not lots of squares with loads of flats. It's a nice list with only 3 main flats that you can then scroll nicely and look one by one. So that's also important to understand how they're going to feel when they go through each step of the journey onto your website. So yeah, that's how the core user journey, how you built it, how you go through those steps to really understand how you then gonna go further and build your website. Do you have any questions for now, or should I leave them for later? Maybe I'll continue and leave the questions for later then. So once you have your core journey and you've identified it through using this spreadsheet, you've understood your user, your personas, you're very clear in your mind what you want to do. And it's now time to put this into what we call a user flow. So a user flow is a flow of chart of the user journey. So what we did before was mostly explaining the user journey. And now here, what we're going to do is really put it into a flow chart. So what I like to use is a tool called Whimsical. And it's a nice tool to do a flow chart. So I'm going to show you, and we're going to take the example of Deliveroo. It's a food delivery. I think here in Switzerland, it's mostly Smooth or Uber Eats. And in England, it's Deliveroo. So if I open my Whimsical, here I'm able to create what we call little text box. and each text box will be related to a view page. So if we go to Deliveroo, their first the first page is their home page. And then we link it to the next view page. So the next view page is usually usually you can put text also in between the lines to say, so they go onto the home page, then they put their address or their postcode of where they are, and what they will see next is a list of restaurants. A list of restaurants. Then next, what they see if they click on one restaurant that they particularly want, so they choose a restaurant, then they will go onto the menu of that restaurant. And so that's a nice way of creating a flowchart and understanding, okay, my first box is one view, my second box is another view, my third is another view. And in between, how I'm getting to those different view pages, the different action that the user will take. So that's a nice way of doing it. And it will give you a visual representation of the different view pages that you will have and how they work together. So if we go back, we can see, maybe if I zoom in a little, how they've done it. The home page, they enter the address, they go into the restaurant list, they pick a restaurant, they go on the menu. Usually you can pick different items. So it's not really a view page. So yeah, but they pick an item and then they go into the order details and then go onto the order page. So that's a nice way to visualize your core user journey. And once you've done that, you'll be able to go to the next step, which is wireframing. So really putting down, what is this first page, this home page, what will it contain based on the three components that we talked about, the action, the content, and the angle. So really those three components, and then on each page, how I'm going to display that. And usually what I like, the tool that I like the most is Figma. So Figma is a nice tool for prototyping and to really showcase how your page is going to look like, so your view page, how it's going to look like, and you can collaborate with different people. So I know that you're currently working with different people on one project, so it's nice that you can collaborate quickly on a prototyping tool like Figma. So usually what we do, we create one big rectangle, which is usually your view page. And so if we take Deliveroo, they had just a nice big rectangle, which is the pictures. And you can put text and say, here is an image, and there's an image. You can say, am I running out of time?
No, you have another almost 20 minutes.
Oh, okay, nice. I was thinking. So yeah, just wireframing is basically just a quick visual of how the page will look like. So here I was just about to create a search bar, so you can just quickly, by using just rectangle, how it will look like. So you have your main image with a search bar here, and usually you would have little different cards of different restaurants and different images of different restaurants and their description. And it will give a visual representation of what your first view page will look like, and making sure that you have those clear three components on it. And you can do that for each page. So here it was my view page. I can copy and have another page, and so on and so on. And so that will really help you visualize step by step the different view pages that you will have. Yeah, you can play around with Figma. It's great. There's lots of different tools for it. And what is also nice is that you can link each page. And if you press play afterwards, you're able to see it like a real website. And yeah, if this was a button and you wanted to link it, maybe it's this one. I don't know. Somewhere in here, you can link it easily to the next page, and then it will look like a real prototype that you can quickly build. So that's another nice tool that you can use to do it. And usually with Figma, what I like to do is to have also my clear UI kit. So I will have what we call the headers, the buttons, and how the avatars will look like. So really have the visual representation of each component, each UI component of your website ready that you can use quickly to prototype your view pages.
Can you please explain what is UI to us?
Yes, so UX UI is basically you have different components. So it's, for example, the header, each little components of your website that will be used throughout your website. So for example, it's really important that you have a button and the same button used on every view page. Because if you have a green button on your home page and then you have a blue button in your checkout process, it's not going to flow very nicely, and it's not going to have, you're going to lose your visual representation. So it's important to have a UI kit to remember what your brand is, and have a visual representation of that is the same throughout each views. And that's quite important to have a very nice flow on your website. You don't want things to look different on each page because it might throw the user off. So that's why it's important to do that.
My question was more, what does UI stand for? And if I am to brainstorm, I would say user interaction or user interface, but which one is it exactly?
I think it's user interface.
So do you mean how the user interacts, takes actions on my website?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Thank you.
And yes, so that's how you would wireframe with Figma, with again the example of Deliveroo. So having a page here, the search bar, and then the different cards. And this will really help you visualize how it would look like, and then you'll be able to then code it yourself or ask a web developer to do it for you. And yeah, you can easily use the flow for it and really see how it flows together. So now I propose that it's your turn to do it. Next week, we'll go through pitches, and I think that it would be a good idea for you guys to go through your personas, really identify your core use case, your core journey, going through the Excel spreadsheet that I will give you, and really, really think about how your product is going to flow together. And if the flow matches, that's really important, that it matches your need, but also the objectives of your customer segment, your user that you're targeting. So I have those slides are all available on this website, and you have a token that you can use. And it's everything will be on here. Yeah, that you can access quite easily. There's also different lectures that you can go through if you're interested in everything that is with visual design, and how to create a brand that is consistent. And
Beautiful. Would you mind opening the Excel sheet and showing to us what tools do you have in there and how we can make the best use of them?
On this spreadsheet?
Yes, on because I see it has a couple of others.
Yes, so those are
Yes.
the exercises. Those are the blank ones that you can use yourself.
Okay.
You can make a copy. I think I think it's or you can directly use it. I think you have to.
I think it's better to make a copy because then each and every one can make it for their own product or services, right?
Yes, exactly. So you can just copy this, the empty one, and go through each of the UX components. So creating your UX persona, finding a picture that looks like your typical user, and going through each of those steps that we've talked about. You have also your user journey. You see that you can put the feelings, and I think that's the last one. And you can already also prepare your product pitch. I think there's a little template here if you want to play around with. That's also another tab that this is on there.
Beautiful. So maybe if any of our users viewers have any questions, please unmute yourself and ask.
Don't be shy. Here for if you need any help, or if you want to message me later, I'm also happy to answer any questions.
Yeah. If nobody wants to talk, I would ask you to share the screen, to share the slide in which you had the views, if I'm using the right word, and the actions in between. So I found this very interesting. And if I look at my own website, it doesn't follow at all the instructions that you've shared with us today. There are too many call to actions and it's very complicated. So what I'm getting from your presentation today is that it really needs to be simplified, so that the people who land on my website understand what is the need they can meet when landing on my website, and what is the benefit that they can get out of interaction with me. So did you manage to find that slide?
Yes. So the slide where it's
it is this one.
This one, yeah.
Yes. So see here the home page, the result, the show, and the confirmation, and you have only one verb that links one page to another page. And in my own website, I have tons of action buttons and tons of verbs that you can click on, and you go into different directions. So am I right in understanding that I really need to simplify one page with one call to action, another page with another call to action, a third page with a third call to action, and a fourth page with a fourth call to action? Is that right?
Yeah, it will all depend on your core use case. So for example, here the core use case is booking a flat.
Yes.
So for booking a flat, you just need a homepage that gives us the way to the dates, the location that you want, then be able to search, and then have the results to show in the checkout. And so for that core use case, this will be the core user journey. Yeah.
So you're saying that I need to search, then I need to choose, then I need to book, and then I need to pay.
Yes, exactly. So that would be just for the action that you are planning to focus on.
Beautiful.
And this will be the journey that you will undertake for it.
Okay. And then if we move to the next slide,
Mhm.
so now that I know the things that I need in order to be able to search, I want Biliana to be able to search, right?
Mhm.
So this is what she needs to know.
Mhm.
And this is what she needs to understand is her goal. I mean, this is what she wants to achieve. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move to the next one,
Mhm.
please.
Yeah.
So here I have, okay, so the key verb here is to choose. I need to choose here.
Exactly.
And I need to understand what is cheapest, best, what are the best rates, and what are the best locations.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see owners' pictures for search results. Yes, I do want to see, because this is, okay, so let's move to the next page. The next slide. So in this slide, I need to search, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm searching according to location, check-in time, check-out time, number of guests. Okay, and this is what there. Okay, beautiful. And the next one, please. So here is my key action, actually, to book the flight.
Yes.
Okay, and in order to book the flight, I need to understand how much it costs in total. Okay, and then the last one, the next slide, is I need to pay. So my user journey on this website is, on the Airbnb website, is I need to search, I need to choose, I need to search, I need to, what was the other one? I need to something else, and then I need to pay. Book, yes, of course, book. Okay, I get it. I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Hey, does anyone out there have a question?
Yeah, maybe I understood that you want us to focus on one use case, the core use case, the core need. And then you also said to focus on one unique value proposition. How can we handle if we have different value proposition? Like you said, you have Manu, this French girl, but maybe you have also another persona who has maybe a different angle and then a different need. Maybe for him, then not the unique experience is so much important, but to have a cheap place to stay. How do you handle that?
Mm-hmm. Yes, so it's making sure through text and visual components that you're showing that to your different segments. So if we go on the Airbnb, you'll see that, for example, for someone, the most important thing will be how many beds there are. For another person, what is essential is that there is a pool or a kitchen. So it's by giving those visual cues to the users and then targeting those different segments and on your pages.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Jeanette, for your question. Who else has a question? I have another question. So let's take Airbnb. Mm-hmm. There are students who want cheap flats, and there are younger couples that want unique experiences. So we have two user cases, right? And actually we have a third user case, which is the people who are renting the flats out, mm-hmm. right? So are we developing different digital products? Let's think only about those two, the ones who want to rent and the ones who want to rent out. So do they have different interfaces? Like, do they have different? Does Airbnb have different websites for them, or is it all handled in one website?
So I've never actually rented a flat on Airbnb, but I believe it's quite similar. So you would be able to log in on your profile, and you have those two options to host your home or have an experience of being on Airbnb. So on their page, they've also clearly personalized different segments. So you see that also on the top, it says their core user case is to book a place. So you see the one that they've really put forward is place to stay. And then they have different ones, for example, experience, monthly stay, for different segments that they may have. So that's how you can incorporate your value proposition for different segments on your page, but never really going away from your core main case that your product is doing. So that's how you can do it. Even if you scroll down, you have the online experience. They will cater to different segments this way by different different pages, by scrolling down. But their main view on here is the search bar.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Any other questions or comments? Or maybe one would like to share their website and we can have a look together.
I would have a question. Just to show where to log on and where to get the documents, or will you share that still on Slack again?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think the slides will be shared with you.
Yes, I will share them briefly in a couple of seconds. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Otherwise, I'll leave this slide on. This is the link and the token to access.
Thank you.
Thank you. Enya, last chance for a question. If you don't have any more questions, please have a good look at those slides. At the what is it called? I forgot the word. The Excel sheet, the Excel sheet that Victoria is going to share with you. Make your own copy and try to follow all the instructions in there to prepare your product pitch, because this will be a big part of our work next Friday. So, Victoria, thank you very much for this amazing presentation. And next week, we will be looking into the elevator pitch. And in order to come prepared for the elevator pitch, you will need to have done this small homework, which is called the product pitch. So try to do it, because it seems very easy, but it's not. And this will be an integral part of what we will be talking about next time. Next time, the elevator pitch will be presented by Victoria and myself, and this product pitch, which you have there, will be an integral part of it. So please have a look at it, play around a little bit, and come prepared next Friday to have an amazing elevator pitch. That's all from me. Thank you very much, Victoria, once again. Thank you very much, Louvagon Lausanne, for sharing your employees with us and your documents with us. And I look very much forward to meeting you next Friday. Have a lovely weekend. Stay cool and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.